Okay, so I want to talk about listening to your calling, kind of playing with life and listening to your calling. When you have a calling, an inner calling, that is your soul. That is your soul, your intuition guiding you to your natural place of being and to your own nature. And I was thinking about this morning, how the things that come to you naturally, there is no effort in. So, for instance, I'm making these videos, and I feel like by making these videos, first of all, I've said it many times before. I feel like they're kind of born out of me. It's not like something that, when I started making the videos, um, I used to shy away from cameras. Most of my life, I have years and years and years where I barely have any pictures of me. I didn't like taking pictures of myself. I didn't like the way that I looked. I certainly didn't want to. I couldn't listen to my own voice. I certainly wouldn't sit and make videos. And when this whole thing started with the making videos, it was like it was born out of me. It was like something was in me that wanted or needed to be expressed and needed to be born out of me. And I started seeing that as I'm making these videos, it's something that doesn't take anything from me. It's like I'm in my natural place. It's like something that is born out of me. And it's like a calling. And I realized that that each of us has a natural state of being. It comes in way of like our intuition. It comes, we have like this impulse. And what I really want to say is kind of like to get back to your nature and to get, a lot of times when we're going through life, there's so much pressure, and we've been conditioned for so many years in believing that there is a right way. We have to go out and work, and we have to be successful, and we have to raise our children in this way, and we have to do this, and we have to keep our house this way, and we have to have all these things in order to be worthy of anything. And there's all of these rules by society, and that and there's like, see, when I was a kid, we moved around a lot. We moved, I think that when I was 20 something, I counted the places that I had lived, and there was like 24 until I was like in my early 20s. We moved almost every year, if not more than every year. Some places we stayed a couple years, but we always were moving. And we moved. I was born in Jerusalem, and then we moved. By the time I was 2, we moved around Israel a little bit, and then by the time I was 2, we moved to the States. I lived in Montana, and then I lived in Oregon, and then I lived in, which Oregon is the first place that I really remember. I think I was like 3. We lived in Arkansas, which Arkansas we lived in 3 different houses, but and at my aunt's house. But one of the places that we lived was up in a cabin on the top of a mountain. The whole family pretty much lived naked. I think we lived there for about a year and a half or so. We raised goats, and we had our own garden. We had to go get water from the spring. There were snakes, rattlesnakes, and to get the school bus, that's where I started. The first year that I was there, I wasn't in school, and then that's where I started going to kindergarten. And to catch the school bus, we had to walk. We had to walk like a mile and a half down the mountain, down a little dirt road, off onto this other dirt road that the school bus would pick us up from. So we were way far away from anybody and any civilization. We raised animals and dogs and our own food. And really, I feel like that is one of the places that experience really formed me and who I am. It really connected me to nature. I remember going out into the forest by myself. It was really a forest, and I remember just the beauty of nature. Going out in the morning. And my brothers would go to school. They were older than I was. I'm one of 5, and I'm the middle child. So at that point, I was the youngest. And they would go off, and I would go out with my goats, with the goats, into the forest. And I remember seeing the cobwebs and these magnificent spiders, and the dew with the sun shining through the droplets of water on the cobwebs. And it was just magnificent. And there were certain little places in the forest that I found that were like a fairy tale, or swinging on the vines, or all sorts of things. It was just magnificent. The flowers, I remember the flowers and the smell of the forest every once in a while. As I go through the spiritual awakening, my emotions are opening up for me more and more, and I am remembering there's like emotional memories that are coming up from early childhood, emotions of like wonder and awe that I haven't felt since I was a tiny little girl. It's like the entire spectrum of my emotions are opening up for me. It's anew. And then, when you have this emotion that comes up, it reminds me of like when I was 3. The yeah, I see a flower and the wonder of the flower. It's like all of a sudden these emotions are opened back up for me as I go through this spiritual awakening. The wonder of the world, the magnificence, the innocence. It's like innocence. It's like rediscovering the world um, through new eyes, because we go through life and we're conditioned, and our life becomes harder and harder and harder, and there's more pressure, and we have to do this and we have to do that, and it starts in school. Where you're expected to be a performer. You perform, you have to bring in grades, and you have to, you're compared to others, like, you get an 80 and they got 100, and or all of the comparison and unworthiness and the way that we're conditioned. And really, we have, each of us have our own unique nature and own unique way of being, and when we realize that we're not in comparison to anybody else, and that is where it comes into what I was saying about following your own intuition. You have an inner guide. When you learn to listen, you have to be quiet, because it's like learning a different language. It's like learning the language of yourself. It's your true self is coming up and guiding you, just like with making these videos. It was something that was born out of me. I couldn't stop it from happening. It got to a point that there was, it had to come out. I had to be an expression. And as I go further and further into this, I realize more and more what it is about. It is about bringing these messages through. It is about something that wants to be born through me. It is about bringing my own nature out and into expression and into the world, and being my own advocate. Um, um, I am the producer of my own life. I am the producer of myself. I am the like my own production. um, but Otsa'ala is like is um, publisher. I am the publisher of myself, and you can sit your whole life and wait for somebody to come along and realize your unique abilities and give you the right to, oh, look at you, you're so wonderful, here, let me publish you, or it's, you're waiting for somebody. It seems like, and when I was going through before my awakening, it was always like I was waiting for something to happen. I was always waiting to be discovered, because I knew that there was so much more inside of me that wasn't getting expression. And each of us is that way. Each of us have so much inside that wants to be expressed, because we're unique. We're unique beings. And within us we have this spark of life. We have this unique abilities and capabilities. And in the matrix, we're kind of buried under layers and layers and layers of crap. Of crap. And when we learn to listen inwardly, our natural self wants to come out. All we have to do is remove everything else, and we will naturally come to the top. We will naturally float. It's like a cork that wants to float up, but we're holding it down with all of this crap that we were taught and conditioned, and your natural true self wants to be expressed. A lot of times we can't find who we truly are under all of that, because we're so far conditioned to, you have to do this, you have to be this way, you have to do that way, you have, society's ways of thinking and being, that we don't even recognize our true self. um, And that's where quieting your mind comes in, your affirmations. First of all, realize that you want to be a true expression of yourself. Every morning, get up and tell yourself, okay, I want to be. I want my true self to be expressed. First of all, it's just wanting and realizing that there is a true you in there that wants to be expressed, and that is by nature a unique being and has so much to give to the world, and so much, just by your existence, just by being who you are, and being an individual. You have so much to give to the world because you are a unique expression, one unique expression of something that this universe has to offer. And so you are like a show. You're a one-man show. You're an expression of God. If God is everything all around us, we are made up of this dirt. Everything that is in this dirt flows through our veins. And this life force comes from the ethers, from the energy, from the nature's energy, and comes through us. And each of us is unique. We're like a filter of the universe of God. We're like an expression, one drop in the ocean that is completely unique, that we have our own light, we have our own way of thinking, we have our own way of expressing ourselves. We're just unique beings. And that being wants to be an expression. It wants to come into the light. It wants to have an outlet. And we are the only ones that give the right to our unique expression. If somebody else comes and tries to express us through us, it's like it's not us. It's like their perspective of us being brought forth. We are the only ones, each and every one of us individually is the only one that can truly express ourselves and know even who we are or what we are, when we're able to quiet our mind. So that's where meditation comes in. You can really quiet your mind, and it's not like you go into meditation and then you come out and you realize who you are. Meditation, it's a process. This waking up is a process. There's so many layers of crap that have been put on us through this, through our whole lives, that it's like clearing off layers and layers and layers. But what is fun about it is, as the layers clear and as you start shedding all this crap that is built on your being, it goes quicker and quicker and quicker, and it's like the process becomes the process becomes like a pattern, and you already realize the pattern, and so it becomes easier and easier and easier. You start recognizing, and you start knowing how to do the work. You start just like sheds, duck, 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 duck. And the quicker you go, the further deeper you go in, the quicker it starts shedding. The deeper you go in, the bigger the weight of what you're shedding too. um, but it's all about bringing yourself back to yourself. And as you start shedding these layers, your true self just naturally comes up. It's not like something that you really have to do. It's just like these videos were, like I said, they were born of themselves, because I had cleared so much crap that it had to come up. It had to get expression. It's like a cork that just wants to come up to the top. Also, with this twin flame journey, it was also quite a eye opener. When you start going through yourself and you start releasing things that don't belong to you anymore, your true self has like a path to come out. And so it's really just like following your intuitions, moving on impulse. You have an impulse, something is drawing you to go see that, or go over there, so go. All of my life I've been wanting to uh, write children's books, and I still haven't. I just published my first book um, less than a month ago, which I'm really excited about. It's in the description. So it's really about my journey through alcoholism, and overcoming the addiction to alcoholism. But really, it's overcoming any addiction. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's about the thought processes that hold you in that place, and it's like these loops that feed themselves. And so my father read the book And he said, out of 10, 12. So, and that's a huge compliment for me because it was my father tells the truth no matter what, and he's opinionated. So that was really good for me to hear and wonderful because it's written so simply. It's like in such simple language. So I was really excited about that. And so really it's allowing your authentic self to come through. And if you have a calling, if you have something that is drawing you, or act on your impulses, act on it. It's your intuition. And even at the expense of maybe sometimes being wrong, or maybe sometimes making the wrong choice, when you make the wrong choice, it brings you back to what is the right choice. It kind of allows you to filter through yourself. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to look like a fool. You know how many times I've looked like a fool? And how many times, I've thought, well, should I do that? Shouldn't I do that? And so what? This life is one experience. So what? So what if you look like a fool every once in a while? 100 years from now, is it really going to make a difference? But at least you stimulated yourself. You've gone through life. You've experienced it. You're not sorry about the things that you didn't do. This one book or this one I don't know if I heard about it or I read about it. A woman that wrote a book that she worked in a hospice, and I probably told this story before, but it's very relevant here. She worked in hospice with people that were on their deathbed, and she interviewed them about things that they were sorry about in their lives, and she said that almost everybody um, were more sorry about the things that they didn't do than things that they did. They weren't really sorry about the things that they did. They were sorry about the things that they didn't do. And so if you have a dream, just reach out for it. That is your true self expressing yourself. We live a lifetime of doing our duties. Oh, we have to clean house, and only then am I going to allow myself. I remember when I was a student, I was always, when I went to learn, I was already a mother of two. And the learning for me was kind of like an extra add-on, right? It was like my treat that I was giving myself, and so I didn't take it as like my main thing. So I had like this idea in my head that first I have to have the house clean, the kids have to be taken care of, all of these other duties have to be done. And at the time I was painting for this I was painting furniture. I was making little art paintings. You know, um, as a way of making some kind of money, some kind of income. And for like children's beds or children's closets, then I would make a little painting. They would order what they wanted, and I would do the painting. And so I had to have all of my duties done before I would allow myself to do my homework or work on the projects of the what I was learning. And then at some point, I realized that I was never getting to my projects, that all of my duties and all of the things that I had to do were taking over. And then I said, no way, no way. This learning is important. I want to do this. This is something that I want to put my time into. And I started letting the house go. I'd have a massive pile of clothes unfolded on the massive pile of clothes to wash, and dirty dishes. And I was sitting doing my projects. And I decided that I was going to let that be, that was something that I was passionate about. So allow yourself to do, we only have a certain amount of time. We can fill our whole life with menial tasks. We can fill our whole life with folding clothes and doing dishes. Folding clothes and doing dishes are constant. They'll always be there. Don't worry about it. Um, you know, uh, those things are always going to be there. So the things that you want in your life, start bringing them into your focus. Start taking little steps. Start building momentum on them. It's like my website that I'm building now. Okay, so even I'm putting it into my focus. It is something that I am working on. I brought it in to be my main focus. So I have packages that I need to send out to Amazon, which I am also kind of they're not getting along. But I realize that those things are always going to be there. I can go, I'm thinking on today, maybe I'll go to the spring. I'll take a whole bunch of posters with me, and I'll sit there for a couple of hours and roll posters. That'll be something that I can like do two birds with one stone. I get to be out in nature because I love being out in nature. That's why I make these videos also out in nature. It allows me to live the life that I want to live first. And these videos have come into, they've just become a part of my life. They've become part of what I do. It's like I feel like it's my yeah, it's kind of corny, but my God's work. I feel like this is what, first of all, I feel like it's fulfilling me. Um, so far it's not, and it's making my life feel like I have, I'm giving my gift, the gift that I have, and it's fulfilling me. And y- y- and that is has come to be something that is so important to me, that uh that I am willing to, I feel almost like it has to be. um I'm not making any kind of income from it so far. Hopefully I will, so that I'll be able to do this more and put more of my effort into it, and be able to do it more. I also want to make shorts and things like that, so that, because I realize that people watch more shorts, and I really, if I want to be an expression and want to be a full expression of myself, I also want it to add value and to get out, to get it out to people. Um, so if I feel like I'm giving what I have to give out into life, I and then I want to get it out. So that's where I am. So really, I just want to encourage you and let you know that each one of you it's your own individual expression, and have so much to give to others. The dogs just took off. There must be a rock rabbit over there or something that they saw. They're so funny. They love going out. And then when they get home, all they do, like, I'm working and doing all my progress and stuff, and they're just laying. It's so much fun for them. They're just like, they're out on their morning adventure, and then they get home and they just lay. Lola lays under my feet, and Rexy kind of lays there, and they just get to laze out for the rest of the day. It must be really fun. They're in pure consciousness. They're like just pure experiencers. They don't have all these worries, or they don't even think about where their next meal is going to come from. They are just in the now constantly and continuously. And when you're in that place, it's like being in heaven and earth, because there are no worries in that place. There is no lack. There is no, oh, this happened to me, or what is going to happen to me. It's not, they're not in the past or in the future. They're in the present moment at all times. And when we are able to be in the present moment, we do, by, let's say, if you do art or you're in expression, like when I'm doing these videos, I'm in the present moment. My thoughts are coming through, and I'm expressing myself, and I'm in the experience, uh, completely. So really, I want to encourage you and let you, and everybody that's watching this, anybody that is watching it, all of us are pure light. We're pure expressions. We're pure individuality, and we have value to add to mankind. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in existence. Everything has purpose. Everything has purpose. And your unique way of expressing yourself will speak to certain people. Each and every one of us, we're all connected to mankind. So each and every one of us is connected and has a way about us, has our own individual way of expressing ourselves, of being. And we each have our own beauty to us, and others that will be drawn to the message that we have to give, because we are expressions. We're not only expressions, we're also, we're expressions, but we are also witnesses to other people's expressions. That's why it's a two-parted thing. That's what our destiny is. That's what our ability is. We're beacons. We have both sides. We're expressions, but we're also witnesses. That's why nobody else should or can, um, um, what is the word? Threaten our unique expression. Like we are, you know, I can watch other people being expressions of themselves and just be interested in what they have to offer because they're unique beings. It's like they're putting on a show for me. It's just like nature puts on a show. There's bees flying around this tree. It's like the nature show. And so when you watch other people being in full expression of themselves, it's inspiring because you get to see this unique creature, this unique being, and oh, what do they have to offer? Oh, look what they're doing. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then it gives me also the power to be my own unique self and my own unique expression. So I'm going to go ahead and sum this up here. I keep on going and going and going and going. So thank you for watching.